Okie dokie. How are you?
Very good. Yourself? Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and happy almost New Year. Not yet. So we are getting together to discuss Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter? Your selection, and I have no idea why you picked it. I did some looking too. You made me. I went through the cast list and I was going back and forth. And I have, it was based on a screenplay like the last one.
Okay, that's not the reason.
Or it was done in the 1950s.
No, it's not the reason.
I can't think of, I mean, Elizabeth Taylor and Jane Mansfield are both considered sex symbols or whatever you want to call that.
More Marilyn Monroe and Jane Mansfield, not
sure,
really.
but that's why I'm stretching. I have no idea why you chose it.
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
Because there's no linkage and you wouldn't be able to find one.
What do you mean there's no linkage?
It's not. I just picked it and tried to find something with no linkage.
Okay, if they were both done in the 1950s, I'm correct.
Well, they're both movies. They
yes,
both have
there you go.
in it.
Yes.
And they both. What did you think of the movie?
It was good. It wasn't great. It was for the time. I'm really glad we're watching some of these movies that I would normally not watch.
Me too. Exactly.
I would go, I don't need to watch this one.
It's goofy Americana. Like it's
yeah.
It's what they thought of themselves in the late 50s and the sort of try to be irreverent kind of look at themselves and comical, that it's not funny kind of. And it's funny, when I saw it, I went, oh, that's a lot like the movie The Apartment, the way he was acting right there. And I went, I wonder if they got that from The Apartment, but it must have been the other way around because The Apartment was 1960. This was earlier.
So wasn't The Apartment in black and white?
I think so. Yeah.
And this one wasn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, it starred Jane Mansfield, who was I had not seen her in anything else as far as I know. The only what I knew about her was her daughter is an actress in Law and Order, Mariska Hargitay. That's
right. I remember hearing that somewhere a long time ago.
So yeah, Jane Mansfield's her mother. But from the poster of the picture of Tony Randall does not look like Tony Randall. And it doesn't look like him at all. So I don't know the difference between this and where he was in the Odd Couple. Not sure about that.
What do you mean where he was in the Odd Couple?
So when was the Odd Couple done? I'm assuming in the 70s.
Yeah, that was the early 70s, 72.
Right, and this was done in 1957. It was an hour and a half, 6.9 stars, and 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, based on a screenplay. And it's talking about Madison Avenue. So the thing I liked about this one is that I wondered how close this Madison Avenue would come to the Darren Stevens being part of McMahon and Tate on Bewitched, because that's the only information I know about I've never watched Mad Men or any of the other things. So
yeah, I've not seen Mad Men either, but I think Mad Men is a much more realistic look. This was a silly take, very much like Bewitched is. Even Bewitched, I think, tried to be more realistic. There was a line in it where she said, "You might even you be 2 vice presidents and a raise."
Yeah,
and I'm thinking, well, all anybody wants is a raise. I mean, a vice president, that's a cool thing, but 2 vice presidents gives you that's like saying in hockey, you can play forward and defense. Yeah,
yes,
of course I can.
Okay, but do you know the connection between this movie and Bewitched? There's a guy who played his just above boss, not the owner of the company, but the guy who was above him. I can't remember his name. He was Henry Rufus. And he was played by a guy, and that guy played a leprechaun on Bewitched.
Oh yeah, Henry Jones guy?
Henry Jones. He was also in Pete and Tilly. He was on 9 to 5, and he played Brian O'Brien on Bewitched. So this guy, Henry Jones, has played in so many movies. He was.
I thought you were going to say John Williams did something. That Irving LaSalle, just like the main head of the company. I thought he was going to be on Bewitched.
Oh no, sure. They probably have been. Like, it's just so many of these people
Yeah,
guest
they
star.
always-
But he was the one that's like, oh, I know him. Where do I know him from? And you look him up, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, he's been on everything. Everything. He was on Love Boat and every detective story, everything. So I think there's 207 listings. Most of them are just, individual ones, just starring places and stuff. So
I love the little squeak that they had from the blondes when they would go over to them, because how stupid it was.
Yeah, okay. It was
because they did this just a high pitch and just sort of did it with an excitement kind of thing.
Yeah, but how they thought that was appealing was just the worst in the world. And it's like, really?
It's ear shattering.
Yeah,
high pitched, and it was to show excitement and glee, and I thought it was awesome because it was so
bad.
Yeah, it was like, that's not how you. I guess, you know what? If I went to a room and a girl did that, I'd feel pretty good. Yeah, that wouldn't be so bad.
She did that for you, yeah.
Exactly. She got that excited.
Right.
Yeah. Like you'd shriek that way if somebody gave you diamonds or a house or
a
new car or something. But I thought Tony Randall reminded me of The Apartment. Like it reminded me of Jack Lemmon. Like, there were times when I looked at his face and I went, oh, that looks like how Jack Lemmon looked like. And I'm wondering, almost like Tony Randall was up for the part. Like, in my head, I somehow think he was up for the part in The Apartment.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm wrong on that, but I think I recall. Stacey will know.
Yeah. She'll look it up. But there's so many other stars in this movie that we know from other places. Barbara Eden.
I caught her immediately.
And Majel Barrett. So she is, she was married to Gene Roddenberry, and she was Nurse Chapel on the original Star Trek, and she was Loxana Troy's mother.
Yeah.
She was, Deanna Troy's mother, Loxana Troy, on Star Trek Next Generation.
I remember her now. And I remember when I saw her, I went, how come I recognize that? And that was from there.
So she was in there. And Groucho Marx made an appearance. So they got a whole bunch of people to show up for it. So I thought that was good. So the premise of I didn't bring the thing to look up there. We should have the premise of the movie, but I'll probably do that when I do it on the blog. But Stay Put Lipstick. The guy wants to what's his name? Tony Randall. I didn't even write down his name. Rock Hunter. Yeah. I'm not the brightest.
Well, Rock Hunter. Who did Tony Randall play?
Yeah, so Stay Put Lipstick, he is trying to find a way to try to get that promoted, and it will also give him the job he wants, which is like, the president of the bank, the ad agency would be his dream, right? And it was funny how I'm watching the Batman things, and everything is like, oh, it's a $1 million account. And I remember watching Bewitched and noticing the first account was $100,000, and then it goes into, by the time they get to the end, it's a $3 million account. And Batman's doing the same thing. The crooks are robbing increasingly more money as the series goes from season 1 to season 3. It's so funny to watch. That
would be a good data collection.
Yes. How much money?
ChatGPT to look at the old Batman episodes and figure out the amount of money that was used in the robbery as a total,
or whatever,
the value of the fur coats or whatever they were stealing.
Yep. Yeah, no, that would be interesting. So yeah, it's funny how like once they hit $1 million, it was like, whoa. So everything was going to rest on that account. And it was funny how the character, she has a bodybuilder boyfriend, and in real life, she has a bodybuilder husband. So Mariska Hargitay's father was a bodybuilder. And so when they did the movie on Mansfield's Life, Arnold Schwarzenegger played her father, the bodybuilder.
The bodybuilder in here, he was like an Austrian also. He had a very Austrian
so accent. That was the perfect casting for that. And the person who played Gene Jane Mansfield was Lonnie Anderson
Yeah,
from
yeah.
WKRP in Cincinnati. I think that the
Burt
girl.
Reynolds'
Yeah,
wife.
yeah, yeah.
Now,
So those were
her
the
name was Rita Marlowe, which was a great name because when it's said, you think, oh, there's an actress, Rita Marlowe. That sounds like an actress's name who was a sex symbol
Yep.
from the 50s and 60s. Like that
Yep.
makes sense to your brain.
Yeah. Because they Rita Hayworth and Jean Marlowe.
But the point of it
There's
is
another
he's got a girlfriend and a niece, and I guess they live together. No, live
Yeah,
together.
his niece lived with him, but it was
With him. But
yeah.
then his girlfriend is his secretary at the advertising agency, and the advertising agency is losing their main account, and he's going to lose his job, and he's, he sees his niece going. She's in the fan club for the Rita Marlowe fan club, and he thinks, I'm going to get her to be the lipstick girl because of her kissable lips, and ends up meeting her, and she wants to make her boyfriend jealous, so she pretends she's like having an affair with him and not really having an affair with him, but wants the boyfriend to think that. But then the world thinks that's happening, and the girlfriend wants to leave him, which is terrible because he doesn't want the girlfriend to leave him, but everybody just assumes that that's what's happening. And so as he gets his value proposition of he's going to bring the biggest account into the company and therefore become vice president and all that shenanigans, he also ends up losing his girlfriend, and his victory is sort of soured because do you think he starts to like Rita Marlowe, or is he always smart enough to know not to? Or I thought he was starting to.
I think he was enamored of her to a certain degree, but he definitely wanted to have his girlfriend, his fiance, back. Just like he always wanted that, and she wanted George Schmidlap, right?
Groucho Marx.
Yeah, so she wanted him, and did they end up with that? I did not like how she called him lover doll, and I was like,
Susie and I used to I called her baby doll, and she called me Big Daddy. That was our little thing.
Yeah,
Hey,
okay.
Doll. Hey, Big Daddy. And then I was watching a movie once where the guy said to the girl, said something about, hey, baby doll. And she was, okay, Big Daddy. And I went, oh my goodness. That's exciting. I videoed it, and I cut it out, and I sent it to her. And I go, that's us right there.
Right, but she wasn't going, oh, Big Daddy. Like Susie didn't do that.
No. It was just a little kind of pretending that we were out of our characters. And
yeah.
So is he, because he's Rock Hunter. That's very much
Rock Hudson.
The Rock Hudson kind of name.
Yep.
Remember Gregory Hudpeck?
Yep.
Or is it Rockery Hudpeck?
That's what the Flintstones did.
Yeah, Gregory Hudpeck. No, Rockery. It must be Rockery, because they would use rock if they can, right?
Yeah, rock or slate or something.
Yeah, so Rockery Hudpeck. So Hudson and Gregory Paxton.
Yeah. What else? Let me see. I liked the way Rock was dancing. He was doing the wild dancing thing.
It reminded me of me dancing. When I was watching it, I was liking it too, because it was like
he's putting so much effort into it.
Far out, ridiculous moves.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. And so his boss gets to become a chicken farmer, and he gets to become the boss, and yeah, everyone ends up happily ever after.
The chicken farmer.
The boss of the company.
No, the boss.
Oh no, sorry. Rock is the chicken farmer. The boss is a flower guy. That's right.
Greenhouse. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it was America in their attempt to be funny and elevate themselves into Madison Avenue and movie stars, and it was all that kind of stuff. It showed you how false sort of life was. There was no real great story behind this. You didn't believe in the Jane Mansfield character, even his girlfriend kind of thing. It was all pretty flat.
Yep.
And that's sort of what I liked about it, was to see the sort of downfall of, I shouldn't say downfall, that's a silly word because it wasn't a downfall, the lowering of the standards. Because then they do The Apartment, and that's such a engrossing movie that
it's classic
in the character. I don't believe in Tony Randall or Jane Mansfield, but I never watched her in anything.
No,
she actually did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I read about her life a little bit, and it was she ended up with a bunch of husbands, and I think 3 of them, and one of them she was going to divorce, or she divorced him, and then she found out she was pregnant by him, and so they didn't tell anyone about the divorce because according to the Bible Belt and Hollywood audiences, they didn't want her being an unmarried woman with a baby. And she had like 5 kids, and how she could maintain this sex star symbol was pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the pictures that she was in was after she had a kid, and it's like, I don't know how she did that.
Is it that famous picture? Was it Mansfield or Marilyn Monroe, where Sophia Loren is like caught looking at her boobs?
Oh no, that's her.
That's her. Okay.
Yeah.
They're both out on a show or something. They both had cleavage showing, but Jane Mansfield's was huge. Yeah. And you even saw Sophia Loren like checking her out, kind of thing. It's a good.
Yeah. Well, they had the proper bras and things like that too to elevate the situations.
Happy.
But yeah, so there was a term, the girdle popper. That was haha. I didn't. The niece was too old, I thought, and that wasn't really explained. Like, how does he have this niece, and why does he end up with her, and things like that.
They needed somebody to be in her, and so that was the 50s. So even before the Beatles. So I guess girls were enamored with girls at that time, because later, 10 years later, women were doing the same thing. I know they were chasing after Rock Hunter, but they were chasing after her too, weren't they?
Yeah, well, she was a movie star. He wasn't a movie star. She was the movie star, right?
Yeah, but he became valuable because she liked him, and that gave him.
Well, so in some ways, this movie is a typical The Ruse. Okay, we'll both pretend to this and see if we. Bridgerton, the first Bridgerton one, was just like that. Okay, I want to get married, so we'll pretend we're together, so that elevates me in everyone else's eye. Now they can't have me, so they'll want me, and then they end up falling in love. So these ruses always seem to backfire on people. But this one, I don't know, did he get what he wanted? I guess kind of. Stay Put lipstick. I don't know if they were still selling it. I wonder if it was a real lipstick or whether they just made it up for because the campiness of some of the stuff, it's quite a spoof in a lot of ways, which was fine. And it was funny, the little thing with the tranquilizers. The boss had to, is this a one tranquilizer meeting or a 2 tranquilizer meeting? And
they're drinking alcohol like.
Yeah, for sure.
Part of the day.
And on Bewitched, they would have drinks all the time. You just keep drinking and drinking. They would do on Bewitched.
Well, I think that's a big part of what was that show you were talking about?
Bewitched?
No, the advertising.
Oh, Mad Men.
Mad Men.
Yeah.
I think that was a big part, was drinking alcohol, and it was just a more realistic, less campy version of this, is what.
Right. Right.
I got sick just at Christmas.
Oh, Martin's now sick.
No,
it's pretty pitiful.
But I got sick, and then I got poisoning from menthol. You ever heard of menthol poisoning?
Yeah, if you have too much, it's not good for you.
Yeah, and I got menthol poisoning, and it really was bad.
Okay, because I know that same with things like cough syrup, I think. No, I'm not even positive of that. If you take too much of it, it will reverse the thing it's doing and make it worse.
Well, I did Ricolas and Fisherman's Friends, and I just kept popping them all day. And then
Oh yeah.
I know you're only supposed to have maybe 5 or 6 of them in a day. But my brain is, oh, I got a sore throat, popping
The
out.
more I have, the better.
That's right. These are almost candies. They're like the
Right.
Ricola, it's sweet. They have a
Yep.
candy kind of taste. And I remember that was one of the jokes some comedian said once a long time ago. And it was, if they only wanted me to eat one Advil, why would they candy coat it?
Yeah.
But I ate probably 25 to 30 Ricola and maybe 20 Fisherman Friends.
All in one day?
All in
Yeah.
6-8 hours. And because I was driving down to Moncton, and then, oh man, I'm starting to feel it. So I'm just popping and trying to keep my throat good. And then friends are coming over and you're talking, and I just keep eating them. And then dinner time, I'm really feeling crappy at dinner, and I keep eating them all the way through dinner. Then I go, I think I need to get creme brulee. And I said, no, thank you. And I went, uh-oh, the fact that I said no thank you to creme brulee means there's something the matter with me. Everybody should have taken notice at that moment in time.
Yes. What's wrong?
That's right. There's something really bad going on here.
Is Jesus coming? Because
so I went and laid down, and then it started, and the shakes happened, and the brain going wacky, like hallucinating, and you can't stop things happening. And so now I realize, because I don't remember if I ever told you the story when first year university, when I got sick and I wrote an exam and I thought I aced the exam. Did I ever tell you that story?
No, but I know you also did scientific experiments too, right? That I signed up for.
Yeah, but I assumed somebody spiked me with some kind of drug. That's what I assumed, because I was sick. I used to have to take the bus down to Mac, so about an hour and a half on the bus, and I'd get to Mac. And I remember going home and then not feeling well, having a nap, getting on the bus to head down. It's left down the Jolly Cut just through concession. And the bus is not going to stop till it gets down the mountain now, right? But I was going to throw up badly. So I just started getting on the ringer and ringing the bell. The bus driver stops the bus just after he's turning that corner on the Jolly Cut, heading down the mountain. And he stops, I jump off the bus. He closes the door. I start vomiting like crazy.
Oh, okay.
Just throwing up.
Yeah.
And the bus is long gone. I walk back. I get on the next bus. I'm feeling good now. I just threw up.
Right.
I'm feeling good. I get on the bus. I go down to it's a calculus midterm exam. I'm doing the exam, and it's going great. I am feeling brilliant. And I'm not a great student. I'm certainly in the bottom third of the class. And I finish, and I look up, and the smart guys are still got their heads down, and they're doing this. I went, okay, Jeff. Go over your work.
Check it.
Check every little detail. Make sure you're right. So I went back in, go through every little detail, and I go, I fixed something. I fixed something else. This is awesome. I did great. And I look up, and still the smartest guy in the class has got his head buried. And I went, I'm done though. I'm gonna hand this in. Okay, handed it in. I got on the bus. I went home, and I remember lying in bed. And the same kind of thing happened in my brain that happened 3 nights ago. And then it was calculus and chemistry equations were all coming into my head at the same time. And my brain was seeing answers that no one's ever seen on the earth before. And I was privy to Einstein level knowledge that the world has yet to see. And I remember struggling trying to stop it, and trying to tamp information coming in. I remember doing that, and that's why I thought I was on some kind of drug.
Right.
And that exact same feeling was happening here, where it was computer programming and ways of bringing data in and file naming, and they were all coming together in my head, and I was trying to tamp them down the same way. So now I realize I must have just eaten like crazy, Halls or whatever, just kept popping them in my mouth, and because I was sick.
Yeah.
And so I got menthol poisoning that time, because the exact same feeling. I remember lying in bed in the bottom bunk and calling, Mom, Mom. And she would come up and I'd say, stop it, because I couldn't stop the things from coming in my head. So it wasn't until 3 a.m. looking it up, realizing that it's menthol poisoning. And then that was an answer to what happened before. It was
and you can solve it by not eating an entire thing of Halls in 10 minutes.
So the worst part is I get home and feel like an idiot for self-poisoning yourself with menthol, right? But my throat is still sore, and now the sickness is gone, but the underlying reason why I was doing it all was still there. So I buy the chloroseptic spray. I love the chloroseptic spray because it just numbs the back of the throat. This is perfect. So I'm, as soon as I get it at the drugstore, I did a spray. That feels good. And get home, I'm spraying it. I'm going to bed at night. And of course, I have none of the menthol poisoning is in me anymore. And I check to make sure there's no menthol in this stuff, right?
Right.
Because I'm scared now. I don't take anything with menthol, even though I'm sure I can take a little bit, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
So I'm spraying the stuff. Then I realize I better go check it. Maybe I'm chloroseptic poisoning myself. And I look at it, and sure enough, it says
only
you do 5 sprays 5 times a day, but you must spit it out. You cannot swallow it.
Oh.
And I'm going, what are they talking about?
Right.
What's 5 sprays? How do you not swallow it? Because you're spraying the back of your throat with this stuff.
Yep.
And so you're supposed to spray 5 times, which means you're swallowing at least 2 sprays. There's no way you can't.
Yep.
Now I only sprayed once, but I swallow it just because that's what I do. Spray it. Swallow it. But I sprayed myself 15 times. I don't know, something like that. And so I'm probably re-poisoning myself with something else because you're not supposed to swallow it. So I stopped that now, and I can't do that. I just got to live with a sore throat. That's my new medical advice. You live with it.
Yeah. Supposed to be like honey or something like that.
Try and solve it.
No.
So yes, I don't know
the
how to
hallucination thing. No, apparently not. Do you know how to brush your teeth? Are you supposed to swallow toothpaste?
Well, I know you're not. And then I remembered on the Joe Rogan podcast, he was reading the toothpaste thing.
Yeah.
Said, if you swallow, call poison control. And he's going, what? This is toothpaste. Of course you're going to swallow it.
Did all the time. Yeah.
I used to, when I was a kid, take toothpaste, put it on my teeth, and go to bed.
Yes.
Thinking the going to sleep.
And you licked batteries too. So is there a miracle that you're alive?
Well, the fact that I didn't know about menthol, and I've all my life chugged Ricola, like you buy the big bag from Costco and it's got 100 or 200 or whatever.
And it lasts you a week and a half.
And I'm always popping them in, and so I always went overboard, but never to a problem that caused any issues.
Right.
Except those 2 times. The first time I didn't figure it out, but now I'm 95% sure that time in university was
also the same thing.
Yeah. So
well, that is definitely got away from will success spoil rock, Hunter.
It didn't in the end. We were worried it was going to.
It didn't.
It didn't spoil him because he became a chicken farmer, and the price of eggs is what was important. And I was willing to sell them to Mrs. Limbriner for free.
That's right.
Undercut the other people who were selling them for free. Well, I'll do it for free then.
Well, that's a great story I could tell. I should do that.
So last night's dream, I was back at Casey Center again.
Okay.
And so I had a podcast on about science and space and stuff. And so all that became part of my dream too. But I was there and meeting with people who own the land now, and it was somebody else from when you and I went there. And I was going to say to those people that you and I came a little while ago, and you might have come back again. And I remember in the dream walking out of a building and looking back and going, oh, it was the little barn I was in the dream, but I didn't realize that till I walked through it, that I'm already on their land. And there are dreams where I'm back there, and then the whole street gets built up, and they're putting up apartment buildings, and X's and
Had that one too.
you've had that, yeah.
Going down the street and it's like, when did they add this apartment building in this little, what in the heck?
Yeah. And the street with lights on it now, the intersection there, it's got lights and it was a big thing.
Well, the hallucination thing that you were talking about, I had that when it was either a dream or almost a sleepwalking thing. I dreamt that I knew how to fly. And you just like, it was in the house and you just kind of hold your breath a certain way. And then you start lifting off and then you're floating. And then you bump up against the ceiling and then you hit your foot and you can push yourself to the other part.
Oh, yeah.
And you can fly. And I was in my dream thinking, all I have to do is remember this when I wake up. It is
Exactly
so easy. I just have to.
The little trick that nobody's told us.
Yeah, you just have to remember how to do that. And it's so simple. And then the foot will push you away, and then you can go to the other part of the house. And convincing yourself, I just have to remember how to do this, and I'll be able to do it when I wake up.
Dreaming, because you realize in the dream that there's something outside of the dream that you're going to try and remember. I've had that also with holding your breath underwater, breathing underwater. I thought I figured out how to breathe underwater in my dream, and now I know the little trick, and I'll be able to, when I wake up, I'll be able to know how to do this, and it'll be, I can tell the world, and the world will need to know this thing I figured out.
Way better than the dreams where I have to pee and I'm desperately looking for a place to pee, and I finally find a place I can pee, and I sit down and pee, and then one day I'm going to wake up and it's like, oh,
that happened.
Not yet, but it was.
No, it did to me 10 years ago. I took a sleeping pill from Costco called Sleep Aid or something. I forget what it was. And I would take the sleeping pill, and all of a sudden I'm dreaming. Every single time I took it, I'm dreaming that I'm peeing, and I would wake up and I go check. Phew, if I didn't, and I go for a pee, and I do it probably 7 times in a row. Every single time I'm peeing in my dream, and it's scaring the crap out of me.
Yeah.
And then one day I'm peeing in my dream. I wake up. Oh, check. I freaking did. I never touched that sleeping pill, and I've never even come close again. So the sleeping pill made me pee in my dream.
There's a relaxation thing that's triggered by whatever chemical that you're susceptible to, and there you go.
But how can a sleeping pill, and I knew of no other things, but peeing was the thing. Like that was really weird.
So we are way off of time.
That's the kind of movie that you don't really need to delve deeply into and try to figure out.
Then we really don't need to keep on going, because then we're going to start talking about other stuff.
Who's that behind you?
There's Martin.
Well,
going downstairs. Oh, he's pitiful. I'll tell you, he's got the man flu, and so he would lay there, and you can hear him go.
That's what I was doing. I was making this noise, the groaning noise. So good.
Bad, but I'm trying not to laugh at it, because he's funny when he's not, because he's normally so strong.
Yeah.
That is when he's laid low by a virus. It's like,
I was doing the exact same thing when I was having this. I was lying in bed making the groaning noises, and I said to myself, that feels so much better
to make those noises. Yeah, it's like getting the bad stuff out by going.
I got myself, and I didn't like it. I made it. I went, oh, that relaxes me. There's something relaxing in making the groaning noise.
Yeah,
that was really good.
Yeah, but it's a little bit like he doesn't like me too much attention. But then when I don't give him attention, then he's like, well, he says, just leave me alone. So I leave him alone. Well, how come you didn't bring me any ginger ale?
But check on me. Leave me alone, but check on me.
So
here's what you do. Take that camera that you got and put it up in the room.
So I can see when he stirs.
Because you can talk to that camera, and there's the speaker in it. So you can be downstairs, and you can say, hey, Martin, are you okay? And he'll talk, and you can hear him. Like I
can hear him from downstairs going.
But there's a microphone in it, so you could, and a speaker, so you can have conversations with people at the other end of it. I've got a flying squirrel here now.
Ooh,
Coming to my thing, a flying squirrel. Who knew? In the Maritimes,
that's cool.
they have flying squirrels.
The crows told them about you.
No, so I remember seeing this squirrel come at night, and I thought that's really weird. Squirrels don't come out at night. So strange.
Yeah.
And never thought too much about it, other than maybe he's really hungry and he's deciding to look now. And then all of a sudden, I went out to check. I saw the movement on the camera, and it notified me. And I went upstairs to look, and I see him hiding underneath the window ledge. And I come out and I open the ledge, and he takes off, and out goes his hands, and he becomes a square, full square, and he flies like 30 feet away. It's about a 15-foot drop, and he ends up being about 30 feet away from the house when he lands. And I went, freaking awesome.
Did he land in a tree or on the ground?
I think on the ground. Yeah.
Okay.
I think on the ground. It's snowing soft, but so now I've noticed he'll come up, he'll eat something, and he'll run right off the end. So his way of leaving is to jump. I've had squirrels jump before when I scared them and they thought their life was in danger. And I come in the room and they just jump and they're gone. This guy is normal because the squirrels always climb down, only if they're in fear. This guy always jumps down and flies down to his thing. So I'm hoping I can get him more and more comfortable with me. But then about 5-6 days ago, deer have been coming up to the house.
Okay.
So I had a lettuce and some apples out that window, and I got the camera up in my office window, and the deer come right up to the office window. One night I was sitting in here, the blinds down, and they were right on the other side, like 3 feet away from the glass.
Yeah.
He has no idea. He's like looking. He's like, I hear something. I feel something. There's something up.
I'm being watched. He's saying somebody's watching
something me. Up. He's looking around and looking at the window and trying to figure it out. I'm right here going, it's just me. I want to hug you.
Yeah.
He's scared. And they become every day. Now, I don't know how much the neighbor's going to be mad if I'm feeding the deer, but
only if they start eating a garden that they're trying.
Well, they were eating my shrub in the front at my evergreen kind of thing. But I'm thinking if I give them apples to eat, they're going to less want to eat my shrub. Like if they want to eat my shrub, they're going to eat my shrub. They're not going to come eat an apple and then go, I guess I want shrub too. An apple's like dessert. You're getting dessert right away. You're not going to I'm going to munch on that shrub now.
They're going to gain weight. And they can't frolic through the forest because they're eating all the.
No, I'm not giving them too much. I'm not making them bacon sandwiches.
So next time, Stacy's going to join us.
Yes, I think she is.
Is that going to be our new thing that we have someone join us, or do we have a thing?
I don't know the factors in it and stuff, especially that every time what happens, but
right.
I would think she would do the whole year with us.
Yeah, it might be hard trying to get
it is hard getting you and me to do it.
It is sometimes.
And you and I are brother and sister and are dying to do this, and it's still hard to line things up.
And it's like okay, I have 3 hours in between now and this. I know.
Yeah. So I think I want to try and see what we can do.
Yeah. Then we should let her have a choice of movies too. Right. We don't have to have them connected. That was just an interesting thing we did. Yeah.
I mean,
we can just take a turn.
We can even get her to pick every movie for the when she does it, and then if she's not doing it, you and I pick the movies. I don't know. We'll figure something out, but that would be fun. I don't know how good her internet connection is for doing video though. That's where the issue comes in.
Yeah.
Her internet connection may be
spotty.
Yeah, and I mean, then she could connect up through audio and call, because you know how when I send you the link, they also say, and you can call this number and they can become part of the meeting. But then we're just listening to her and showing a picture of her. Yeah.
Well, in that case, let's put a George Clooney, no, Harrison Ford, no, Sean Connery imitator, and then just put the picture up. You can't love people in slices. And Sean Connery's on there. As long as you say that line, Anne can do it. Anne can be Sean Connery.
Anne can be Sean Connery?
She does that. You can't love people in slices. The way she does it, it's like, okay, that's a pretty good imitation. But you know what was fun? When I'm telling a story and I'll go, make a face, Ethan now mimics me making a face when I'm telling a story.
That's
I
cool.
love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you have a nice Christmas? Did you have birdhouses and things like that?
Yes, all of mine were based on musical instruments. So I got a piano, I got a guitar. Not that I got a piano and guitar,
Right.
those were the wrappings. It was a
Right.
cardboard piano and a cardboard guitar, and then a cardboard record player. And it was all based on Reham Dijon III.
Okie dokie.
You know who Reham Dijon III is?
No.
That was one of my alter egos when I did the computer TV
Okay.
show. It was
Okay.
Bastor Spassky or Reham Dijon III.
Okay.
Now, when
Okay.
I would go play Frisbee and I'd meet a new group of people and they all go around, oh, what's your name? What's your name? You're in the circle or whatever. And they get to me, I'd go, Reham Dijon III. I'd say it like that. And then I'll go like, heck? He doesn't look like a Reham Dijon III.
Nope.
So she did, everything was RHD 3. So
Right.
the record had like music by our
Yeah.
Now, Reham is one word. She thought it was two, so she did Reham. And so when she made the family,
It's a made-up word, Jeff. It could be exactly the way she's.
no, Reham, it's like an Indian guy's name. I thought like Reham Dijon. So Dijon, I think of a British aristocracy because they go past Dijon, right? Even though it's French kind of word, I think of British. So then Reham Dijon is like
I think
the
of
British
Dijon is
into India.
I think of India is
Right.
Dijon.
Oh, really? You think of Dijon as Indian? I think of it as French, but a British French.
Okay.
You remember past the mustard?
I
What
guess
was it?
yeah. So I guess
Past
it's the
Poupon, the great Poupon.
Scrooge McDuck. He had a minion slave guy, and he was Dijon.
Oh, was he? Or was he
Yeah,
Dijon?
and I thought he was Pakistani. He's talking about
Oh,
being.
so then Reham
I
and
could be
Dijon
wrong.
are both Pakistani. The third is just because of Thurston Howell the third.
Yes.
That came from there. But Reham was
Oh,
Indian.
back to the movie. Jane Mansfield turned out to have auditioned for Ginger from
Oh, yeah?
Gilligan's Island.
And she didn't take it?
She didn't get, well, I think she got it. She was offered it, but she didn't want to, promote the sex symbol thing.
Oh, I see.
So Tina Louise got it, but it would have been Jane Mansfield.
That'd be good.
And she got the part because she played the movie. It's based on a Broadway play, and she had the part in the movie in the play, so she got to play the part when they did the movie. So, yeah, she had done some acting and stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah, I guess we should finish up the movie because
Since I brought it back to the movie a little bit, but we'll see you next month.
Yes, maybe Stacy on board. We'll figure that out.
We'll see if that's possible. But if you stuck in long enough to listen to this part, Stacy, we'll welcome you as your time and interest allows.
Yeah, however that.
Don't feel obligated just because.
Just because of the prime importance this has come in the Canadian subculture.
Yeah. Sure, you could have contributed to this one more, and we wouldn't have to talk about Jeff's bad health situations.
Yeah.
I had another whole thing I was going to say, but I didn't say it. So.
About what?
Nothing. I'll tell you after you stop recording.
Okay.
Not to him.
Okay. When we stop this recording, we continue talking just so people know it. And the second part of this goes to our paid subscribers.
That's right. The ones who the Patreon.
Our Patreon people get the other guys.
Because I've been listening to Penn Sunday School, and he says, join us on Patreon, and at certain tiers you get autographed stuff, and you can join people on their podcast. It's like if there's the Patreon subscribers could do it, we could do that, except Stacy's got an in. She's been grandfathered in by being the only one who's commented on anything ever.
So I hope everybody goes to our merch store.
That's right. And buy the
Get the baseball.
oh yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Hit the,
That's right. Hit the subscribe button right here.
Share with your friends.
And share with your friends. If you
join
have no friends, we understand. That's why we're talking with each other.
Patreon, and we will like first or second or third tier. And it depends on how much you're going to be willing to give us a month.
How many thousands of dollars you need to pay per
But
monthly.
The new t-shirt saying the movie podcast with Anita and Jeff that talk about movies mostly.
So far, I've been calling it the New Year's resolution because you said this is how it started. It's we were kind of tired of New Year's resolutions always being things about, denying yourself and something that you had to struggle to do. But it's like, oh, we'd kind of like to do this. And it's nice that, except for the little COVID bump, we've been doing it every month. So it's kind of it's a New Year's resolution that we've kept. Yeah.
Oh, I totally like the New Year's resolution. That's good.
And one day we'll say, I'm sorry, there's no more movies left. We've seen them all. Because one day you'll say, haven't we done that?
Well, I was looking at a movie the other day and I went, oh, the Barefoot Contessa. Maybe we should do that movie.
We've done it. That's why you have to give it to me, and so that I should make a flow chart or something. Alphabetical order or something.
We will hit a movie once and do it again and not realize it till we're talking.
Yeah, I remember seeing this one before. Like seeing it before, but talking about it before is going to be the oops. Oh, well.
Okay.
We'll see you next month.
Well, happy.
And it'll be 2025 then.
And everybody have a good one.
Bye, Stacy.
Yeah, that's right. She's the only one here.
Nobody's left.
How do I stop this recording?
I don't know. Jeff Elabel has stopped recording.
I've done in the
you've hung up on me before. So